and gentlemen, and welcome back to another season of the DCD Racing League. Or not another season, the last of this season. I may as well just start this all again. Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to the final round of the DCD Racing League season. And we are here in... Take a guess. Take a guess. What's that? It's Abu Dhabi. We're here in Abu Dhabi for the final round of the season. And, well, what a round we are in store for. We've got 10 drivers on this field. We've got, hopefully, a 1080p stream. And we've got MCH going right up the very top with a 124.381. Right away, the man in the kicks out. We're already displaced by Sharp Tapestry. So it's all kicking off early on here under the lights here in Abu Dhabi. I'm just trying to get that audio sorted, but at the moment, we'll continue on. We'll keep watching as unknown goes up into 1 minute 25.060. Aha, I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. If you give me 2 seconds, you get to see my... Ah, no, you don't get to see my screensaver. Now I know what the problem is, though, which is good. And it's better than I do most weeks, I'll tell you that for free. Normally I'm scrambling around going, I don't know what the problem is, I don't know what the problem is. I do know this week. That fix it? Got that. Beautiful. I think at least, I hope at least, that's fixed. The minor issue. It wouldn't be a Copcast stream without any technical problems, would it, in the end? And, I'm a bit quiet, am I? Okay, I'll turn that up. See if that's any better. I've literally doubled my audio output, so it should be better. I'll also move a bit closer if that's any better. I'm waiting for my stream to catch up so I can... Oh, that's much, much better. And now we're ready to get underway with the action. Chuck Norris coming around the final corner. This should be a decent time. It's the 4th time that we put in, and it's a 1 minute 24.196. Gaming Infinity will be the next driver to come up to the line and set his time. He's in the V-Carb tonight. V-Carb, a team that won't exist anymore in this season in 2025. But F124, the legacy will live on for the team. And Gaming Infinity has 1.5 more sectors to go before he can set his first lap time. He comes up to the second sector split time with a 53.9, and now he's got the technical tricky section of sector 3 to contend with, although invalidating in that final sector. And Gaming Infinity will not be setting a lap time. We have 4 drivers on their out laps. Chuck Norris on his in lap. Gaming Infinity will also, well, he'll slap the wall, but is he coming into the pits? He's got no damage. He is going to come into the pits. And so the V-Carb will just dive right in. He won't set another lap. He'll prepare himself. There's yellow flags out in sector number 2. I believe that is just, yeah, it's just Chuck Norris getting out of the way. So no harm done there. Getting out of the way of Davey Norris, who's not set a time just yet, but the McLaren. Norris in the McLaren. Who'd have thunk it? But Davey Norris will come around to set his lap. He won't be the first one to come across the line and set a lap. That honour will go to one of the Aston Martins, with the other Aston Martin, the next one to cross the line. And then it's Briars, and then it's Davey Norris. But we're going to watch with the McLaren driver to see where he can go as we start the lap. Now we're going to ride on board, actually, as he heads into turn number 1. And it's just heavy braking at the same time as trying to turn the car in. Turn 1 is going to be so difficult on that race start at the moment. It's much, much easier than turns 2 and 3. Don't lose the rear, and also don't ride those curves too much on that exit. that could really cost you a lot of time. A purple first sector is 17.6 for Davy Norris. That is good so far. He comes out of the exit of the hairpin and goes down to the long straight, which is just... It is an incredibly long straight. It's one of the longest DRS straights on the calendar. We've got somebody who's gone round, I believe, at the start of that straight. I think it may have been Chuck Norris, possibly, who's going round for another run. Davy Norris, though, will come up to the second DRS zone. There's two huge DRS zones on this circuit, which is unlike any other. And then coming out of the first sector, or the second sector even, with a 53.7. Now he's got the final sector to go. The tight, twisty, technical nature of this one makes it a hard overtaking opportunity. It's at the end of both the DRS straights that I would argue is where you really want to be making those moves. Davy Norris now only has one more braking zone to go before he ends the lap, and it will come now. You want to brake on those curves. Slight bit of a lock-up from the McLaren. One of 4 drivers not to set a time. A bit of a wobble on the exit, but it's good enough for 4th place for now. Just slotting in just under a 10th behind Chuck Norris. Ahead of him, and just under a 10th ahead of MCH, just behind. Bryars will be the next driver to set a lap, as we've had a few more thrown in. Luke Racer up to the front row with a 24.1, and Floyd Pink down in P7 with a 25.9. He's 9 tenths off I Am Unknown, who is in himself 7 tenths off MCH. So there's a lot of work to do for the drivers further down the field, and we'll see whether they are able to do that work with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left in this qualifying session. Bryars is heading through the second sector. He's gone through one DRS straight. He's now heading up to another. I mean, it's a bit generous to call it a straight. It's more of a curve, but Bryars coming out of the end of it A-OK. And we'll see as he gets a purple second sector what this lap time is. It's a 53.7 in that second sector, and we'll see if the sole Mercedes is going to be able to hook this up as he heads through the final couple of corners. Don't lose the rear here, and I'm sure we'll be seeing somebody Latifi it tonight, but trying to take that curve as much as possible. Bryars on this just opening lap, trying to get one on the board, isn't going to take too many risks. He's going to come around the final corner, and what sort of time is the Mercedes going to set? It's going to be the slowest of the lot, a 25.3 after Floyd Pink jumped up into 24.4 range and jumped up within range of the top three. Which now consists of Sharp Tapestry, who had that lap of a 23.8 sitting up top. MCH in P2, slotting his way in there with a 23.9. Those two are the two in with a 23 at the moment. Gaming Infinity could become the third one, but not quite. A 24.3 is what he sets. Luke Racer gets out of the way. That's not Luke Racer. Floyd Pink gets out of the way of the Kick Sauber, who is maybe on a push lap, probably not. We'll see as he heads now down to the second sector split time. He's certainly not on a push lap, and if he is on a push lap, it's not a very good one. Sharp Tapestry comes into the pits. He was trying to improve on his lap, but alas, he has decided to back out and come into the pits. He wasn't actually that much slower. He's under a tenth slower, and that includes the period where he was in the pit lane. But he thinks he can go even better in the final run. 6 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. You'd think it will be the final runs. Floyd Pink invalidates. Gaming Infinity is 2 tenths of a second down, and Bryars is 4.6 seconds down. They're all preparing for those final runs now. Luke Racer has just come out of the pits, and he is preparing. Well, he's just come out onto his out lap even, and he is preparing to set a lap time. Sorry, I was chugging some water there. As that'll probably be my final opportunity to do that before we get into the race, because we've got 5 or 6 minutes left, and then we are going to be getting underway for this race. I think it'll be a pretty quick turnover, to be perfectly honest, but we will have to wait and see. This is a Luke Racer who's currently in P3 with a 1 minute 24.1. Quite a large gap in comparison to what he would have been wanting. He would be wanting to be in those 23s all day long, but instead at the moment he sits just outside of it. The 24.1. He's going to get the slipstream off of Davy Norris. He might get held up by Davy Norris through the first sector as he gets just about a slower sector time out of the way goes Davy Norris. Pretty nice and cleanly. Now he continues on down the straight, opening up that DRS, and he is absolutely flying on this lap, trying to get any sort of opportunity to push and trying to get any sort of opportunity to gain any time and get onto that front row at the moment. We'll see where the Aston Martin puts himself. The sole Aston Martin in decent contention at the moment for the top three. He's found half a second in that second sector. Fair play. And Luke Racer now could be on for a pole position. He could be on to be the third driver into the 23s. A 23.8 is it's the benchmark at the moment for Sharp Tapestry. We'll see where MCH ends up putting himself. No, we'll see where MCH does decide to put himself. Luke Racer as well. He's going to come around to the final corner. And where is he going to end up? As he comes across the line, it's going to be a 1 minute 23.626. That is pole position for Luke Racer. But he's now going to try and go around very, very quickly and get one more lap time in. And we'll have to wait and see to see if the Aston Martin is actually able to do that. He might have to do it. He might be forced to do it on the same set of tyres. Davy Norris just catching up to Luke Racer in the same segment of the circuit that Luke Racer caught up to Davy Norris before. But this time, instead of being 200ths down, Davy Norris is 200ths up. He's going to head through the second sector, which consists of basically 2 straights and then 1 chicane. So this is a real test of his straight line speed. And Luke Racer finding half a second in this segment. And that was quite impressive. We'll see where Davy Norris stacks up against that now, as I'm sure they'll all be aiming to get into at least the 23s. Luke Racer laying the land down with the 23.6, which is a pretty impressive lap time, all things considered. Davy Norris comes up to the second sector split time with, well, he's lost a lot of time in that second sector, and I'm sure he'll be trying to go once again, as he was improving in that first sector. So curious to see that he is down on that lap. MCH, though, is up. He's improving by 0.06 of a second, and he's now heading through the second sector. So we will see how this stacks up after 2/3 of the lap is complete, and it is just about an improvement. He's going to want to find time in this final sector. He's improved by 0.022 of a second. He's going to want to improve by at least 1/10 and a half if he wants to catch up to the front row of the grid. I mean, ideally, he wants to be 3/10 ahead or 3.5 tenths ahead so he can challenge with Luke Racer. Whether he can find 3.5 tenths in this final sector, I don't know, because I didn't watch that first lap, so we don't know whether he made a mistake in that final sector, which saw him lose those 3/10. Across the line comes MCH now, and it's not going to be enough of an improvement. It's a 1:23.924, which is an improvement, but it keeps him in third place. It just solidifies that position a bit more. Chuck Norris will come up to the line. We'll see whether Williams comes as he heads around the final corner. And, well, is it going to be a 23? Yes, it is a 23.941. He would have been ahead of MCH, but MCH banging in that lap just before has been enough to keep him in third place. But a purple last sector for Chuck Norris promises as they head into the race session. We've got 2 minutes left on the clock now, and we've got most of the drivers having completed their runs. Floyd Pink will be the next one up to the line. We will see where the Aston Martin stacks up. His teammate is currently on pole position as they look set to challenge for the Constructors' title. Floyd Pink goes up into third place. Solid lap from him. Where can Briers stack up against that? He is improving by almost 0.2 of a second. Believe, as he comes around the final corner, he will be trying to challenge into the 24s. Not quite. And he's just behind I Am Unknown. That will be the end of his qualifying session, as well as quite a few of the drivers. We can see Gaming Infinity, Yenta Bars, both in the pit. Yenta Bars going for a last to first. And I think Luke Racer, Sharp Tapestry, anybody that's coming out of the pits now is just too little too late. They're going to have to get on with it. Sharp Tapestry, less so, but Luke Racer, Davy Norris, unknown. They will definitely have to get on with it, as they are currently in that first sector trying to do some tyre warming. But we will see. There is no ERS for Davy Norris, and still been able to put in a 6th place lap. So not too bad then, all things considered. And we will see where... Well, we'll see where he stacks up against the rest of the field. He is, he has set a spank lap. He is on an out lap, so he does have the possibility. Gaming Infinity very bold to come out of the pits at this time, and you'd think that it's not really going to be an opportunity for him to take that. Well, take anything with 30 seconds left in the session. It was actually, that's quite an interesting decision from Gaming Infinity. I'm not quite sure why he's decided to do that. Maybe he's just not looked at the timer, and he has not looked at the fact that he doesn't have long to go in this session. I am unknown, about to start his lap. Can Luke Racer, though, improve upon his? Davy Norris retires from the session in the first sector, and he's put off Luke Racer. I don't really have anything to say to that, to be perfectly honest with you. I just think that's fitting. Okay. But yeah, Davy Norris, not what he would have wanted to do. And he's in P6. Luke Racer, unlikely to improve upon that time. Sharp Tapestry, though, in the final sector he's improved on his time. Is it going to be enough as the checkered flag is out now? Can he challenge Luke Racer for that pole position? Yes, he indeed can. And he snatches it away by 0.2 of a second. Luke Racer has nothing to compete with. Chuck Norris will not be finishing as that. I am unknown, only improving by a 0.05 of a second, half a tenth. As he heads through the first sector. Where will he stack up in that second sector? Maybe he made that mistake, and that's where it all went wrong for the Ferrari. He comes up to the second sector. Split time, he's improved by 0.2. It's still not enough. He needs 0.7 at the very least if he wants to challenge Gaming Infinity for P7, let alone anywhere higher. But this is the final lap that will be set in this session. The Ferrari has just 4 more corners to go. Now 3 more corners to go, and we'll see where he stacks up. His teammates will be doing a last to first. He doesn't want to join him right at the back of the field, but he may be forced to. He'll come around the final corner now. I am unknown. He's going to come up to the line, and it's going to be a 1:24.3. So he's found a lot of time in that final sector, and he will start from P7. He's starting on the same row of the grid, but just 1 position higher. Sharp Tapestry, though, taking that pole position in the Red Bull at a Luke Racer and Floyd Pink in P2 and P3. Not a bad weekend then, or not a bad qualifying session for the team that's looking to challenge for that lead, for that championship lead. McLaren sits with 180 points, but with just Davy Norris racing, they are under pressure. There is a gap of 26 points between McLaren and Aston Martin, and Aston Martin now will have an opportunity to strike. They've got drivers in 2nd and 3rd on the grid, and Luke Racer and Floyd Pink not that far off the pace, so it's Sharp Tapestry. Then Luke Racer, Floyd Pink, MCH, Chuck Norris, Davy Norris, Unknown, Gaming Infinity, Briars, and then Yente Bars did not set a lap time. We've got 10 cars on the grid. Those are the 10, I believe. Now we're going to have a lobby restart because of some ERS bugs that we saw for Davy Norris. Of course, the lobby host gets to say what goes, but for now, I'll send you to a Be Right Back screen, and I'll see you in a minute. Right, we are going, ladies and gents, for the formation lap here in Abu Dhabi. Somebody's pressed the start button 3 minutes too early. Because that means that we can bring the action to you much quicker than we would before. I'm trying to get the audio balancing right. So if you think the cars are too loud, let me know. Too quiet, let me know. Anything in between, let me know. I'm just trying to test it because I don't know. Bryce has left the session. Gaming Infinity's DNF'd. Sharp Tapestries and set to what? No, he's not. May well be a desync. We are having a restart. So I shall see you when I see you. It's race day, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and we have a race just ahead of us. Everybody's back in the session. We are ready to go, and we are raring to go as well. The only thing that isn't raring is the engines, and they will be in time. We've got about a minute before the race session begins, and that is ample time to just... We'll see what's going on. We'll see what the crack is with all of the with the circuit. We'll see what the crack is with the drivers. The drivers will be more find out as we go along. But the circuit we already know. It's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, of course. It's been the final race of the season for a number of years now, rightly or wrongly. And it's always got a Drive to Survive episode about it. So if you're just casually a Formula One fan rather than anything deep, then you'll have heard of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the very least. I mean, we are getting underway very soon. Strategy-wise, around Abu Dhabi, it's likely to be mediums, hards, and that is part and parcel of it, or hards and mediums. We'll see what it is as we get into the session. We've got 10 drivers on the grid, sharp tapestry, with the pole lap, diving it in right at the end to just topple Luke Racer off of his perch. Sharp tapestry held it earlier on in the session. Luke Racer snatched it back, but then an invalid final lap from the German meant that it went back into the hands of the Dutchman. Floyd Pink in P3. Luke Racer's teammate, they're going to try to swarm the Red Bull. They're going to try and maximise the points that they get from this session, considering there's only one McLaren and they're 26 points behind in the Constructors. MCH in P number 4, Chuck Norris in P5, Davey Norris in P6. The two Norrises on the same row of the grid. But we are going now to the formation lap. This is where the drivers just take their last opportunities to prepare themselves before the competitive session. And just calm it. They're going, they're nice and chilled. They're getting ready to go at the very least. And, well, then we will head to lights out. Just to clarify then, the team, the drivers, well, the drivers' standings, that's wrapped up. Bramble not racing tonight has allowed Nike or Davey Norris to take that title away. And, well, it's disappointing. Disappointing, right, I'll tell you why it's disappointing later on. But for now, I shan't. Well, it's disappointing because, of course, we want the title fight on. There wasn't much of a title fight on in the first place, but any sort of title fight is a good title fight. And now the focus and the attention turns to the Constructors. The Constructors, where McLaren are on 180 points at the top of the standings. And, well, Aston Martin sits second with 154, so 26 points behind. Killer Zombie, ticked attendance, didn't turn up. And so we are heading to the race with what could be the Constructors on the line. Killer Zombie not turning up means that he will pick up 0 points, means that all the pressure is now on Davey Norris. Everyone's up to the grid. Briars is just finding 8th. Yeah, it's there, mate. Okay, they're happy with that parking apparently, and we're going to go to the 5 red lights for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And it's action. We were held for so long in fact, that we've got 3 drivers with drive-through penalties. Sharp Tapestry will lead into turn number 1. Luke Racer will dive to the inside though, and will steal that position away. It's the Aston Martin in P1. The other one, though, has had an awful start. He drops to P number 6. Does Floyd Pink. P number 7 even, as he's overtaken by Chuck Norris. Gaming Infinity and I Am Unknown fighting away for 8th and 9th. Gaming Infinity coming out on top in that battle. MCH swapping positions with Davey Norris, as it depends on who gets the better exit. It's going to be Davey Norris, who just has to tuck in behind. MCH will take the lead in that one. But the battle at the top, Luke Racer holds on to that lead ahead of Sharp Tapestry. MCH trying to defend the inside. Davey Norris going around the outside. It becomes the inside line for the exit of the chicane. And Norris's his momentum is broken. Yente Bars tries to fight his way through. He started on the last row of the grid, although that drive-through is because of a jump start. That would have helped his way up the field, although the other two with the drive-through, Unknown and Briars, they are right down the bottom. Davey Norris and Yente Bars are going to continue to fight with the Ferrari trying to hold the inside line. The McLaren on the outside line, and the McLaren just with enough traction to hold on to that position. Luke Racer has broken DRS before it's even become available, and the Aston Martin is going to try and romp away. What a victory that would be, and what a start he has had to this race. He will lead at the end of lap number 1 with a 29.3 his lap time. Yente Bars comes in to serve his drive-through penalty. Unknown will stay out. Briars will come in. And they are both serving their drive-through penalties, trying to come back right from the bottom of the field. We were ahead for an exceptionally long time, but that is no excuse for these two down at the bottom of the field. Yente Bars is coming to the pits. He's boxed. Okay. I think he's going to have to go all over again, is Yente Bars, with that drive-through penalty. I didn't think the game let you pit. I thought it forced you to come in. Anyway, I thought it forced you to go through the drive-through. Anyway, not the point. I interrupted myself before because I thought that MCH was going to go for a move. MCH is now coming under pressure from Davey Norris around the outside. Could the McLaren seal that move? Yes, he could. Could he get through on Sharp Tapestry as well? Yes, he could. MCH is going to try and find his way through as well on the Red Bull. He's down the inside. He's into P3, and MCH now takes that position away, and he moves up. Sharp Tapestry trying to close in on MCH, but he's not got anything there, and now it's Davey Norris's turn to try to attack Luke Racer in P number 1. We've surely got I Am Unknown coming into the pits, as well as Yente Bars. Yente, who came into the pit box. I don't imagine that was on purpose. I feel like that's one of those moments that EA just really has its moment. And there we go. Unknown comes into the pits. Yente Bars, who's back an entire sector, will likely come into the pits as well. MCH, though, this is the battle further up. This is the battle for P number 2. MCH switches to the inside line, maybe on a late move, but no, sits behind Davey Norris. Will not make that move stick for now. He's going to maybe make it down at the back straight as they head down it with that DRS, or maybe he's going to even hold on for the second DRS straight. No, he's not. He's going to blast his way straight past into P number 2. And the Kick Sauber now is trying to take that position away. Davey Norris, though, around the outside. He's going to try to make a switch back. And what a move this would be if it comes off. But MCH, just with the pace on the exit, squeezing out as much as he can and making that stick. Sharp Tapestry is going to try to pressure Davey Norris with that DRS now. As those two are fighting, it opens up the opportunity. Davey Norris, though, back past MCH. And P2 is once again his. Sharp Tapestry thrown off by that. Then Chuck Norris dives it down the inside. But he almost throws himself off of the circuit and drops down to P number 7. Not what he would have wanted, considering he was just about to fight for P4. And now he's dropped out of the DRS at Gaming Infinity. He's going to have to make it back in before turn number 5. And, well, the hairpin, the DRS. But at the moment, he is just dropped down after taking a risk that did not come off. And it did not reward him. They head down the main straight now. MCH so far off to the left-hand side of your screens, the right-hand side of the circuit. But whatever he did, it ended up working, and he maintains that P3. Davey Norris, that gap between himself and Luke Racer, increasing lap by lap, 1.7 seconds between the McLaren and the Aston Martin ahead. And those two will be scrapping it out for the constructors today. There's yellow flags out for I Am Unknown down the main straight, who's going to have to go a whole lap with some front wing damage, which is not ideal. Sharp Tapestry closing into the back of MCH, pulling to the inside line. MCH covering it off. So Sharp Tapestry going even more to the inside line. And he's going to try to make this move stick down the inside. He has, as it's a late lunge just behind Gaming Infinity and Floyd Pink side by side. Can the V-Cub get through just like the Red Bull did? It's the sister team trying to replicate what the main team did, but he's not quite got it quite comprehensively. Floyd Pink still trying to hold on to the outside line, but Gaming Infinity once again just comes out on top of Floyd Pink and making that move into P number 5. Floyd Pink on the exit though. He set himself up with the Aston Martin, but he's just going to have to wait in the wings for now. So fights going on early on in this race. This main battle is going to be between P number 2 and P number 7. You'd think it's between Norris and Norris that are going to scrap away with Luke Racer 1.5 seconds up. However, Davey Norris has closed that gap in on that previous lap, and he's going to try and regain DRS. Apologies there, I'm not sure why. Davey Norris is going to try and get back within that DRS. He's gained another 10th in that first sector, and he is absolutely flying. Sharp Tapestry will have that DRS, and they will try to work together to catch back up and maybe fight for this race victory and this, at least for the moment, this race lead. MCH, though, is going to try to keep them honest. Sharp Tapestry is on the hard, so he's very much being carried by that DRS at the moment. That won't last long. This crossover period will be soon, and then the hard compound tyre will be the better tyre to be on. But at the moment, Sharp Tapestry in P number 2 doing a very, very good job as Gaming Infinity tries to go for another late lunge on MCH. Doesn't quite work out the way that his previous one did on Floyd Pink on that previous lap, where it put him under pressure, and now it could actually put him under pressure from the car behind. He's trying to hold the line, and he's going to hold the line as Chuck Norris and Floyd Pink just sit in behind. They're all oh so close, though, as we head through sector number 3, and it's side by side between Gaming Infinity and Floyd Pink. Floyd Pink, though, backing out. He could come under pressure from Chuck Norris. High risk, high reward is the name of the game, and it's high risk, high reward for Davey Norris, who tries to attack and catch back up to Sharp Tapestry, but a 3-second time penalty heads his way. He is now the only driver on this field with a penalty after the 3 who got drive-throughs came into the pits. They are off the rest of the field. Luckily, though, Mercedes and Ferrari are not in any sort of championship fight, because what a moment that would have been for any of them. Luke Racer has now built up that gap. He was so much quicker than Sharp Tapestry on that previous lap. He has now got that gap up to 2 seconds, and he's going to try to increase that as he heads through this lap now. But not a bad start from the Aston Martin, and well, he's going to hold on to it. Floyd Pink, though, could come under pressure from Chuck Norris as he had a poor exit. Although just pulling out of any sort of slipstream, yes, it does mean that he just hides away from the slipstream with the car in front, but it means that he doesn't come under pressure from the car behind. Chuck Norris just makes his way through casually with DRS. Davey Norris makes it through Sharp Tapestry. MCH is going to try and do exactly the same. Sharp Tapestry with that DRS gets through Infinity. Norris and MCH are going to go 3 wide, but with that DRS aid, it's going to be Tapestry, Gaming Infinity, and MCH that go 3 wide. Tapestry holds on to the position. MCH and Gaming Infinity, it's going to have to be the long way for MCH, but he's going to hold on to that line, and now it's the advantage because it's the inside line. It's very difficult to make an overtake here, but he's going to try and make it stick. Infinity later on the brakes, earlier on the throttling, he's able to get back through. Davey Norris trying to pressure MCH for that 4th place, and the McLaren just tries to continue to pressure, tries to continue to attack, and at some point it will come off. However, the DRS has been broken. Sharp Tapestry is 1.1 seconds ahead of Gaming Infinity, and that could be a huge moment in the outcome of this race. At least the battle for P number 2, as Unknown picks up a 3-second time penalty. Norris and Norris fighting away. Davey Norris having a poor exit, losing position to Chuck Norris. Could lose another one to Floyd Pink as he heads into the hairpin. Not quite. Davey Norris holding on to the position. Floyd Pink opting not to go for the move. And Gaming Infinity has made his way back into that DRS range, although it's flickering for him. He's got it on this occasion, which I think means that he's going to hold on to it. Floyd Pink is going to try to go to the outside line of Davey Norris as they head into the chicane. Who's going to be later on the brakes? Floyd Pink is going to take that mantle, but Davey Norris with the outside line is going to have nothing left because of the stout defence that Floyd Pink puts up. The exit, though, goes the McLaren's way, and is he able to make that move back past? He's certainly able to make that move side by side. Floyd Pink dives to the inside line as they continue to scrap. Davey Norris takes the racing line and holds on to P6, but Floyd Pink continuing to try to pressure in this one, and these two are just going to continue to tangle and tussle away. Floyd Pink knows that the more he fights the more likely it is that he takes that Constructors' Championship home, as there's contact between Briars and Unknown. And Unknown, I believe, with another end plate off. It has not been his day. He may even have some sort of underfloor damage because he's really struggling to get going once again. Poor day. Starting off with a drive-through penalty, and then it's just gotten even worse. But as I was saying, it's absolutely fine if these few continue to scrap. For Floyd Pink, at least, he's going to try to continue to fight Davey Norris because Luke Racer, well, he's got a 3-second gap up in the lead. Gaming Infinity has closed the gap to P2, but not the gap to P1. It's 3.1 between Luke Racer and Sharp Tapestry. It's 0.7 between Gaming Infinity and Sharp Tapestry. And so the DRS is once again available for the V-Carb as they head down the straight. He's 3/10 behind, now 2/10, but it's not going to be close enough. They're just going to settle down now, I think, into this race. And maybe just stay within range, because they're all within range of DRS and all within range of P number 2. As yellow flags were out once again for I Am Unknown. Really not been his day. It's really not been Ferrari's day, as Gaming Infinity around the outside takes that P2. Unknown having his own issues with some spins, and Yente Bars just having, well, I think it's fair to say EA issues. Skill issue at the start because he picked up a drive-through penalty. EA issues because it didn't make him serve it. It made him come in and take the hards. And I think now he's going to try to take those hards right to the end of the race. Unknown retires in the pits and he becomes the first retirement and the 10th finisher in this race. Yente Bars, 3-second time penalty, as he might be retiring as well. We could see a double retirement of the Ferraris on this lap. Indeed we do. There are no more scarlet red cars in this race. It's mainly green and blue, with the exception of Davey Norris in the McLaren. Davey Norris, who's going to try to fight Chuck to try and get further ahead. Floyd Pink's really lost time on that last lap. He's 2.3 seconds to the negative. Unlikely dropping of that position, so maybe he has damage. We'll try and watch with Floyd Pink as they head down the straight. Does he have damage? We'll ignore that for now. Sharp Tapestry pulls to the inside of Gaming Infinity. They're going to be side by side into the chicane. It's the inside line for Sharp Tapestry, so it's advantage on the exit of Gaming Infinity if he's able to hold it in there, and no, he's not. He has to move out in behind as MCH looks to pressure the V-Carb now that his momentum has been broken. He's just closing, but not close enough with Gaming Infinity, picking up Tapestry's slipstream and just holding on. But Floyd Pink now 3 seconds behind Davey Norris, and that is an impressive margin for him to hold. Luke Racer will continue in P1, but that gap has been slashed. 2.4 seconds now between the Aston Martin and the Red Bull behind of Sharp Tapestry, who's trying to close in the gap. That DRS is really benefiting them because now they're using it right. And, well, they're going to try and close the gap over the next few laps as we're a third of the way through this final contest in the season. Season 1 of DCD Racing League. And what a season we've had on our hands. And, well, we did have 2 battles ongoing. The drivers and the constructors. We no longer have the drivers, but the constructors is a sole man tonight fighting it out for those in the lead. Davey Norris, who's trying to hold it out around the outside of Chuck Norris, and he will get through with the slipstream aid of MCH as well as the DRS, although Chuck Norris also has that DRS and he's going to stay within range. So that is not the end of that battle by far. All of these 5 drivers are still within that battle, with Floyd Pink just off of the he's just off of the group, I think it's fair to say. Hello, Rupsy, by the way. Good evening, how are you? We've got Davey Norris closing in on MCH, trying to make anything happen in that McLaren versus that V-Carb. Not that V-Carb, that Sauber. The V-Carb is a little bit further up, but at the moment they are both just sitting in those respective positions, P4 and P5, with Gaming Infinity in P3. And Sharp Tapestry trying to build that gap in P2. He was the quickest driver in qualifying, and he's going to try and translate that over to the race. He's on hards, but the hards could be active at this point as Luke Racer comes into the pits. They are indeed active. This is the crossover point between the mediums and the hards that I may have mentioned earlier, and Luke Racer comes in possibly for an undercut, but he will come in regardless onto a set of the hard compound tyres. His teammate as well, interestingly enough, Floyd Pink, comes into the pits So we'll see whether that was a strategy decision made between the two, or whether it was just simply a move made on the fly, and Floyd Pink maybe copying Loot Racer. I mean, if he copies him anymore, then he'll have a good race, because Loot Racer at the moment incredibly quick. He's only 14 seconds off of the field in front, so that pit stop time very, very, very short in comparison to some of the ones that we have as the third retirement. Was the third driver to pick up one of the drive-through penalties at the start of the race. Briers, he comes in and he retires. He becomes one of 3 retirements from the race. And, well, not been their day. He was hoping for a safety car. I'm sure that's still a possibility. But at the moment, well, of course, he's out of the session. So it's not an opportunity. Didn't get his setup, said Briers. Well, there you go. That explains why he's decided to retire from the session. Because the pace he wouldn't have been able to keep up with. Even if he was out of sync with the rest of the field because of a drive-through penalty. We're going to head on to lap number 12 of this. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to head on to lap number 11. Sharp Tapestry is... No, it is lap number 12. It just took a second to register. Sharp Tapestry is going to continue to lead us. Davey Norris and Chuck Norris both into the pit. And we'll see where Lando comes out, as they have the hard compound tyres booted on both of these cars. It's going to be Loot Racer out in the lead of this battle massively. And, well, they're even going to be behind Floyd Pink, who also came into the pits on the last lap. I don't think they are, but I think Floyd Pink is going to have the opportunity to close in. Oh, Chuck Norris. I don't think he realised that that was the end of the pit lane there. And I don't think he realised that he was coming back out. So he's not got an end plate. And I don't think he's got anyone really he can blame for that, as he's going to try and recover. Hopefully that damage is not too bad. MCH and Gaming Infinity continuing to scrap away. MCH made his way through on that last lap. We did not see it because we were watching Chuck Norris bin it in a wall somehow in the pit lane. Gaming Infinity gets his way back through on MCH, and it could be difficult if both of these come into the pits. MCH will have to go in very tentatively because Gaming Infinity will be going in ahead. And we will see where these two stack up against each other as Chuck Norris makes his way past Floyd Pink in his route back up the field. He is now 4 seconds off of Davey Norris. Not what he would have wanted to see. MCH comes in, but Gaming Infinity stays out, so he's not going to have any issues in terms of that pit speed limit and whenever they decide to go for it. But MCH come into the pits now, and we'll see where the Kick Sauber ends up as he gets a brand new set of hards. A brand new set of hards that could deliver lap times like a 26.3 like Loot Racers just put in. And that is the fastest lap of this Grand Prix in his pursuit of Gaming Infinity ahead. He's now only got 8.7 seconds as MCH manages to keep it out of the wall, making it look easier than it seems. Or at least for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris, who's dropped back behind Floyd Pink. That pace advantage that he had in that first stint has been completely nullified by the fact that he doesn't have an end plate on that front wing. David Norris right now behind MCH, and he's going to try to make that move stick. He's going to have the DRS down this main straight and presumably down the next one. That is, if he doesn't go for a move here. He is indeed going to go for the move here. MCH is going to try and fight it back. No, he's not. Davey steals P4 away. I haven't done the constructors' management or the constructors' points tallying at the moment. But we will see where he ends up. Annoying as well. Yeah, well, I think, to be fair, the way that Abu Dhabi is, you sort of need a setup. So, yeah, I get you. Last time I did a race around Abu Dhabi, I forgot that you were supposed to have... Oh! I was going to say, I forgot you're supposed to have a setup. It's a virtual safety car. Gaming Infinity's gone round. And he's got no front wing. I was good. He's good. He's... What? So he went to continue and then went, hang on. It's quite difficult to turn. And then he goes, wait, there's nothing on my front. He's Latifi'd it, I think. I think Gaming Infinity's Latifi'd it. I said somebody was going to. I called Chuck Norris because he's in the Williams. But it was Gaming Infinity who's done so. And the V-Card now will come out, the last driver on this field, with a brand new front wing, suited and booted, ready to go and try to chase down Chuck Norris with a brand new set of hards. It would have been a regulation stop. As it was, it wasn't because of the fact that he ended up coming in for a front wing change as well. The virtual safety car continues to be out. We had 3 drive-throughs on the race start. Are we going to get any on the restart? You can see how slowly Gaming Infinity is having to take the exit of that corner. I think the virtual safety car could be getting ready to go back in, and we could be getting ready for green flag racing once again, as everybody's tentative. Indeed we are. And we're getting going once again on lap 14 of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final round of the DCD season. And Sharp Tapestry continues to lead us. Gaming Infinity 4.8 seconds off of Chuck Norris with a brand new set of tyres. And no damage, whereas Chuck Norris does have damage. And that is one of the reasons why he's dropped out of the DRS off of Floyd Pink ahead of him. And this is Gaming Infinity's time to strike, time to close in as well. He went round from P2, causing a virtual safety car. He comes out in last place by 4.3 seconds. But of course, he's going to have a little bit of an advantage on the final couple of laps of this race because of the fact that he's coming for the hard compound tyre. And he's also closed in. He's under 4 seconds now behind Chuck Norris. Impressive stuff from the V-Cub. And he's going to try to continue to close. MCH still right behind Davy Norris. And these two could continue to fight Davy Norris all the way over to the left side of the circuit. Then the right to make MCH to go to the inside line to force him as Davy Norris tucks him behind. But MCH with that DRS makes that move stick. The kick Sauber holding on to that position. Davy trying to go for a send on the exit. Lucky not to get any damage in that McLaren. And he's just going to sit behind with that DRS and wait for an opportunity. The opportunity is rife, and he takes that position, P3, for Davy Norris. MCH drops down a position once again, and he will have to settle at the moment for P number 4. It's lap 15 as Sharp Tapestry, 3-second time penalty into the pit. That can be removed, but if he gets any more penalties, then it certainly can't. He went for the alternate strategy, hards to mediums. He's going to take a very, very long stint for these mediums. They're going to go about 13 laps as Luke Racer takes the fastest lap and the lead to boot. And the Aston Martin now has a huge margin over the rest of the field. Where's Sharp Tapestry going to come out? Is he going to come out in the fight with Davy Norris and MCH? We'll see as he heads out of the pit lane, managing to avoid the damage, making it look pretty easy. And Chuck Norris should watch some videos of that back. Sharp Tapestry is actually going to come out in P number 2. He's going to come out ahead of Davy Norris, but within the DRS. So this is a 3-car fight for the position behind Luke Racer. And of course, Sharp Tapestry is going to try to break away. He doesn't want to be involved in the fight too much because of those new mediums and the fact that he's going to have to stretch that stint for a very, very long time. So if Davy Norris does close in, expect him to be given the position. Davy Norris now 3 tenths behind. But not quite close enough to try to make it stick. He's going to try on the exit, though, to see if he can do something. But 6 tenths behind, it's not looking like he's going to be able to. MCH 5 tenths behind Davy as well, keeping pressure on. Unknown also span on that corner and clip my wing. Oh, safety car! Safety car? For what? For why? And for how? Safety car's come out. Devastating for Sharp Tapestry, who could have come in that previous lap. Luke Racer is going to come in. Mediums. I'm thinking. Is the call. Three-second time penalty for Davy Norris. If he can get that removed, then he definitely will. If he can't, which I wouldn't be surprised because of the amount of times that he's exceeded the track limits this race, this is now his 2nd penalty. If he can't get that penalty removed, then he will be dropping down the field. Lap 17 of 29 in this Grand Prix. And the McLaren has just picked up a 3-second time penalty. That could cost his entire season. And that could cost all of the hard work that he's done in the constructors, at least. He has sealed the drivers, but the constructors is what he will be struggling with. And, well, we'll wait and see. To see if he's able to fight for this one. But we'll see. We'll see what they can do as they head around behind the Mercedes. No, it's not the Mercedes of Bryars. He's retired from the session. It is the Mercedes safety car. Shop tapestry on a brand new set of the medium compound of tyres. Well, not quite brand new. He's done one lap on them. MCH, the only driver to have done more than one lap on a certain tyre. He's on the hards as well. And so he's going to get absolutely swarmed, I think, as they get up to the safety car restart. And as they get ready to go once again, we shall see as they head around the final corner. They get ready for the safety car to come in on the next lap, you would think, with Chuck Norris closing in. Been a bad season for me. Just unfortunate again, happened in Jeddah and here, says Bryars. Well, get ready to pick yourself up again for next season, because that's not too far away. That's not too far around the corner. In fact, it is indeed around the corner. It's next Friday. It's next Friday. So, join us then. Subscribe to me so you don't miss a moment of this action. And then we will be getting ready we'll be gearing up for a great week. Exactly 1 week tonight. Exactly 1 week tonight. It is the 21st. Well, it's not today. It's the 14th today. But in 7 days' time, on the 21st, the season will get underway. We will already be talking about it. We'll already be an hour and 9 minutes into the session. Expecting everybody to be on time. And I reckon as well that we'll be quicker then. I reckon that we'll be on about, comparatively, if we were doing it around Abu Dhabi, we're not. But if we were doing it around Abu Dhabi, I reckon we'd be on about lap 26, maybe. Something like that. Safety car's coming in this lap. We've got the Aston next season. Well, good luck, because I think the Aston is going to be the reigning Constructors' Champion. That's unless Davy Norris can do anything about it. At the moment, Aston Martin are 26 points behind, but with a 25-point haul from today and the pace to win this race from Luke Racer, they'll be closing right back in. If Luke Racer does win this race and everything else stays as it is, then that means that they will be taking 35 points home. Davy Norris will have 12, which means they just about hold on to the victory. I am indeed the permanent commentator for the next season. So this is just, it's a little teaser of what's to come tonight. So enjoy it, embrace it, drink it in, and we're going to drink in the final 10 laps of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix as we're back to green flag racing. Sharp Tapestry takes us away. MCH just sitting just behind with Luke Racer back in P3. Gaming Infinity is going to try to pressure Floyd Pink, but he's right. Well, he's being pressured himself by Chuck Norris. Norris is right on the rear, and he's going to pull to the inside line, just tucking back in. Gaming Infinity pulls to the inside line, tucks back in. They're all just, they're preparing for that DRS on their next lap, I think. Although Chuck Norris, he's going to try and chuck one down the inside of Gaming Infinity, down into the chicane, I think. Unless Gaming Infinity can do anything about it. It looks as though he has been able to. However, MCH loses his first position, loses his second position with those hards. They're just not holding it up like they used to. They don't work like they used to before. And Davy Norris is going to make his way through now, using that slipstream of Luke Racer, who's another driver who got his way through MCH. And that is the podium position gone for MCH. Unfortunate for the Kick Sauber, but the wrong strategy. And the only driver on the wrong strategy means that he loses out. Luke Racer is in P2. He's ready to pressure for that P1. Davy Norris, that final position on the podium, crucial. Floyd Pink, 3-second time penalty, crucial. Because that costs him points. That will drop him down to 7th place. That will cost him a valuable 4 points in this Constructors fight. And we shall see where they end up as the DRS is now enabled on lap 20 of this Grand Prix. And it's available for everybody apart from our leader at the moment, Sharp Tapestry. Loot Racer will try to get past with the DRS heading out of turn number 5, heading out of the hairpin. We'll see where the Aston Martin makes this move. Is it going to be out of the hairpin? Is it going to be down that straight, or is he going to wait to one more straight? There's one thing for certain, and that is that he's going to try to get past on this lap, and we are going to ride on board with Loot Racer as he closes in on Sharp Tapestry, pulling to the inside line. That was easier said. Well, that was easier done than said, I think, as he makes his way through. Floyd Pink up into P4 as well. The pressure is now on Davy Norris. As well, I mean, he's dropped out of the DRS, but he's going to try to get back in. He's 1.2 seconds behind, so he's going to be pressured from behind. Not, though, by MCH, and he's going to hope that the Kick Sauber is able to hold on to that position. Davy Norris trying to fight his way forward with Sharp Tapestry, holding that inside line. He could make the move. He does make that move. Can he make it stick, though? No. Sharp Tapestry holding on around the outside. Impressive stuff from the Red Bull to hold on to P2, and Davy Norris is going to have to go all over again. Floyd Pink, in the meantime, is now 1.4 seconds behind. So the Aston Martin charge continues on to lap 21 here in Abu Dhabi, and the Constructors is right around the corner, or the fight for the Constructors is right around the corner. Loot Racer seals that fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 25.5, and I don't think anyone else is going to touch that for the rest of this race, because those tyres are going to go off. They are going to struggle in the next few laps to keep those tyres running, and we shall see who is able to make them run the longest. Davy Norris is going to try to pressure Sharp Tapestry. He needs this P2 for the Constructors' title. And we will see as they head down now. Davy Norris closing in on Sharp Tapestry. Can he take this P2? Not quite yet. I'm glad that you're happy, by the way, that I'm going to be the permanent commentator for the next season of action around the DCD Racing League. 10 races ahead of us, and what an exciting time it will be. If it's anything like this season, we shall be very, very happy, especially with some of the action we've got. Why does it say safety car when there isn't? It's a constant glitch that's been going on for the last 2 F1 games, where it still says safety car until there's a yellow flag, and then it will go away. I don't know why, it just does. And it's been a thing ever since I've been a commentator. So, clearly EA don't care about that sort of issue. Anyway, lap 22 of this Grand Prix now. Loot Racer continues to lead. Sharp Tapestry sits in P2. Davy Norris sits in P3. 1.7 seconds to Floyd Pink. MCH has been able to hold off Gaming Infinity and Chuck Norris. That is absolutely vital for Floyd Pink's championship charge. This could also be vital for the championship battle. Davy Norris holding the outside line, trying to switch. The inside line will beckon, but he doesn't take it. And he sits in behind Sharp Tapestry now, holding on astern in P number 2. And he just continues to stay in that position. This will be frustrating for him. For Davy Norris, that is, as MCH drops behind Gaming Infinity and Chuck Norris. They're side by side as they head through the chicane. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to be Chuck Norris, who makes his way past 2 drivers. And fair play to him. MCH is going to try and make his way past Gaming Infinity with the DRS. But without that grip of those hards, he's not going to be able to do quite that. Gaming Infinity trying to send it around the outside of Chuck Norris. Not quite got that grip there. And he stays in behind. It could open the door for MCH, but no, it indeed does not. What does, though, is the inside line into Sector 3. Not quite once again. It's going to be frustration for MCH as, the wrong strategy has meant that he is so much slower than everybody else, even if his raw pace does not suggest so. Loot Racer with a 3-second penalty. That could be huge, because Davy Norris and Sharp Tapestry could possibly get those 3 seconds removed, because they both pick those up coming into pit lane. That could be absolutely massive for this race. And we shall see towards the end. I don't think this Constructors' Championship will be decided around the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I don't think it's going to be decided in Yas Marina. I think instead it's going to be decided in the stewards' room after the race, which is of course, not necessarily the way we want it to go. It is the way that it shall go regardless. Loot Racer holding on to that lead, though. We shall talk about it as if that never happened. We shall talk about it as if the penalties cannot get removed and they will just stay as they are. Davy Norris continuing to try to pressure Sharp Tapestry. This championship fight from him is going to be incredibly difficult for now if Sharp Tapestry holds stern there. And he might even be trying to go for the race lead. No, he's not. Attack seeming to be the best form of the defence at the moment for the Red Bull. And he holds on to P2. Davy Norris frustrated in P3. His 15 points, not quite enough with the Aston Martin outfit, taking home 38. As it stands, Aston Martin are Constructors' Champions by one singular point. And Davy Norris, the only driver who can change that with 5 laps left to go in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. This Constructors' fight is not yet done. Davy Norris needs to get past Sharp Tapestry if he's able to win this Constructors' Championship. He is the lone McLaren in this race. Killer Zombie ticked attendance didn't turn up. And so Davy Norris now, flying the flag for the Papaya outfit, needs to get past Sharp Tapestry or needs Sharp Tapestry to get past Loot Racer. Because Floyd Pink, he's in a world of his own. Sharp Tapestry to the inside line. He could try to take this P1, but he's just not got the grip in comparison. Davy Norris, though, coming through on the exit, trying to fight. There's contact between the two, as Tapestry does not want to give up this P2 without a fight. He's going to hold this inside line. Davy Norris around the outside. Who's going to hold on to it? It's going to be the Red Bull, who's going to hold on to it sternly, still staying in P2. He is doing an absolute worldie for the Aston Martin outfit right now, whether he means to or not. And Sharp Tapestry continues in P2. This defence is stout, it's strong, and it's working. Davy Norris still staying 2 tenths behind. Needs to make this move, or he needs Chuck Norris to make a move on Floyd Pink. I almost said it was going to be Gaming Infinity. The V-Carb has lost his front wing. It's all action stations here on lap 25 of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And Chuck Norris is now out of the DRS of Floyd Pink. Whatever's happened there means the Gaming Infinity cannot fight anymore. Chuck Norris just behind MCH goes off the circuit. And that is a retirement from Gaming Infinity. In the meantime, Davy Norris sending it to the inside of Sharp Tapestry into the hairpin. We've seen moves like that before win championships. Could this be sealing the deal for the McLaren team? MCH 3-second penalty. Sharp Tapestry with the DRS makes his way back through. And the Red Bull is back up into P number 2. He is holding it sternly ahead of Davy Norris. He's doing absolute bits for Loot Racer and Floyd Pink right now. Floyd Pink, who's 1.5 seconds ahead of Chuck Norris. Gaming Infinity works his way to the DRS. He worked so hard to get back into that DRS. But now, with that contact in Sector 3, whatever it was, he has dropped back. Davy Norris tried to take advantage of a slide by Sharp Tapestry. He has not been able to. And so he stays in behind. This title fight will wage on to the very last lap. And it might be decided by Sharp Tapestry. The man in the Red Bull, who has no bearing in this championship fight, could be the one to decide it here under the lights in Abu Dhabi. Surely at this point, if you're Loot Racer, you're going to want to get Sharp Tapestry back into your DRS. You want to help the Red Bull, as Bryza said in chat. You're going to want to help the Red Bull, but no. He's just going to try and build up that gap because he thinks Davy Norris is going to be able to overtake him. Through goes Davy Norris into P number 2 later on the brakes. Sharp Tapestry trying to hold the outside line. Who got that DRS? I think it was Davy, and he's going to try to break away. It was indeed Davy Norris, but the slipstream for Sharp Tapestry might be enough just to keep him at least within range of the car ahead. He will get that DRS as he's only 3 tenths behind. He will get that DRS on the exit of the chicane. He will open his rear wing now, and it is the opportunity once again for Sharp Tapestry to close back in. However, Davy Norris, using that DRS and the ERS to full advantage, has taken that position and seems to have sealed it. Sharp Tapestry has only a couple of laps to go to see what he can do in comparison to the McLaren. We shall see. This race which started so dramatically on lap 1 with 3 drive-through penalties, is going to end on lap 29 with some incredible drama. And at the moment, Luke Racer, he's in the lead of this race. He is going to go on to win this race. But is it going to be enough? What's happened to Floyd Pink? He's out of the race. Floyd Pink has crashed out of the final corner. And that is devastating stuff for the Aston Martin team. He is out of the session. And that is basically game, set, and match for the McLaren team. Davy Norris has to hold on to a point-scoring position if he wants to take this championship home now that Floyd Pink is out. That is devastating news for the Aston Martin. And it's devastating news for the entire team. Because now Floyd Pink is out of the race. Luke Racer, regardless of whether he wins this race or not, if Davy Norris finishes, Davy Norris wins the title. And I think now is the point where he can be classified. I think that is game, set, and match. I think that is championship over. Davy Norris is going to go on to seal a double for McLaren. What an incredible season he's had. Luke Racer will continue on. Sharp Tapestry makes his way past Davy Norris into P number 2. Floydie comes into chat. Lost grip, hit the wall well. Looked as though indeed you did. And that is the end of the Aston Martin Championship Challenge. It was an outsider challenge. Going into this race, it looked so possible. But at the end of it, when it's all said and done, lap 26 was the end of the Championship Challenge for the team. In comes Davey into the pits because he knows now he needs to do no more. He can just come into the pits, try to set the fastest lap to take that extra point. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just going to go for glory. We shall see. We will see as he's going to stick those softs on and he's going to come out ahead of MCH and he will hold on to that final podium position. We started with 10. We have just 3 left in terms of the competitiveness. 4 left if you're including MCH. And coming out of the pits now, Davy Norris, the championship victor, due to Bramble not being around in this final race of this DCD season. He sealed the Drivers' Championship before we even headed into qualifying. He's going to seal the Constructors' Championship on lap 26 of this race, courtesy of a huge mistake at a costly time for Floyd Pink. The Aston Martin outside shot for the title challenge has gone absolutely awry. It looked so on when they took 2-3 in qualifying and Davy Norris sat all the way back in P number 6. That was the costly moment, though, for Floyd Pink. That was insane. And now the final lap of the Grand Prix beckons. The final lap of this season beckons. And Luke Racer will take the victory in this race. And it will be a victory he will be disappointed in when it's all said and done, when the dust has settled. Because he is not the victor over the season. That is, the Championship Challenge ended for Aston Martin. P2 sealed based on the fact that there was no Alpines racing tonight. And even if they were, they would not have been able to catch the Aston Martin team up. But for Davy Norris, this has been a dominant championship. He has double the points of P3 almost. That is a dominant season. And Luke Racer, well, this will be his first victory of the season. His 5th race of the season and his first victory. And what a victory it shall be. What a dominant race he has had. Just never really looked in doubt. And he will come up to the line and take that victory here. It will be sealed because nobody who can remove penalties can remove those penalties swiftly enough. Davy Norris might not even celebrate on the podium. He's going to have his own celebrations off of the podium with a hopefully okay Floyd Pink as they head out. Oh no, not with Floyd Pink. With what am I talking about? Oh, with Killer Zombie, who decided not to race. We are going to come across the line, and it is Luke Racer who takes that victory here in Abu Dhabi. Sharp Tapestry comes home in P2. Davy Norris will come home in P number 3. And, well, I think he's just about going to hold on to P3 ahead of MCH. Because MCH dropped to 2nd on that last lap. And the McLaren will hold on to that podium in the end. He will celebrate that victory on that podium, and he'll take the fastest lap to boot. MCH spins out of the final corner, a dramatic way to end the DCD season, and he will be the final finisher of said DCD season as he comes up to the line and, well, spins, gives us some donuts to finish us off. You may well be given points, Floydie, but it won't be enough because you were 26 points behind heading into the race. I think. That's what I've been saying. Yeah, you were 26 points behind. P3 for Nike, which gives him 15 points, which means you need 41. And then a victory, which is 25. That will take it down to 16. And you've been classified in P number 6, which is 8 points. Which means even if you do get points, you finish 8 points behind. So, unfortunately, it is all over. Thank you, by the way. Commentary was mint. Thank you. I do appreciate that. I'm going to watch it back because my turning my mic up makes me very nervous constantly, which is why my mic is always on such a low volume. I've gone as far away from my mic as I possibly can. Oh, 16 points because of the fastest lap, yeah. Grasping at straws, yeah, well, there we go. What a race that was. And Aston Martin, they're all done for the season. We're all done for the season. Luke Racer taking that race victory ahead of Sharp Tapestry, then it's Davey Norris and MCH, the final finisher. I believe Chuck Norris and Floydie will be classified, but unfortunately, that is the championship over. Nike Air Snack, aka Davey Norris, will be taking, or aka Uncle Lando, I believe he was last week. Whatever he is, he can call himself a champion. And that is the name of the game. That is exactly what you do when you head into the race, and well, when you head into the season. When you do any form of racing, you hope to come out the other end of it the victor. And when it is all said and done, he's been a dominant championship victor. What's he ended up with? 159 points. No, 160 points is what he's ended up with. P2 got 119. That spells just volumes. That speaks volumes. And that victory was thoroughly deserved throughout the season. It was a double that was thoroughly deserved, despite the fact that Aston Martin pushed him close. But until next time, until next season, which is next Friday, goodbye.